On this episode of Off the Script, episode 142, part number 2, for your November 5th, 2016, who is the one to challenge Dolph Ziggler at the Survivor Series for the Intercontinental Championship? I have a name, and it's exactly who I thought it was going to be. Also, the best friendship between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho looks to be ending in December. But what that means is something that we have all feared for the last couple of months, and I'm falling asleep just thinking about it right now for Monday Night Bore. Oh my God. Roman Reigns is set to challenge for the Universal Championship. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the news. Roman Reigns to move into the Universal Championship picture in December for the Roadblock pay-per-view. I also have news on WWE potentially spoiling the final member of Team Raw for Survivor Series. News on Finn Balor, unlikely to return for the Royal Rumble. I also have news on Austin Aries, out for several months. What exactly is keeping the greatest man that has ever lived on the disabled list? All this, plus so much more, right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script. Big Show and Ryback, Strowman and Roman. Get off my fucking TV and save me the misery. And all you fucking goons, just grab a cold beer. The man of the hour is finally here. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off the Script.
If you guys have watched SmackDown, which you should be doing, by the way, you're doing yourself a huge blunder if you're not watching SmackDown. SmackDown is proving to be the more superior show when it's compared to Monday Night Raw. And if you guys hear anything in the background, don't mind it. It's my fucking kitten keeping herself busy. So don't mind the noise if you guys do hear. I'm not sure if you do, but she's playing with one of her toys outside. But if you guys watched SmackDown on Tuesday, you would have seen Dolph Ziggler issue an open challenge on that show. Out came, what the fuck's his name? What's his name? Kurt Hawkins. That's how much of an importance he is. Kurt Hawkins. Seriously. Guy lost in 7 seconds with a super kick. He issued an open challenge to anybody. Out comes Hawkins, Mr. Get Off My TV himself. And Dolph Ziggler went on to win. He retained the title in easy fashion. But he issued a challenge to The Miz, and The Miz didn't want to do it. The Miz says, we will fight on my own terms when I say. So on this night, Dolph Ziggler beat Kurt Hawkins in 7 seconds, and now he issued a challenge to anybody because he's the champion, and he told The Miz, well, you don't want it, it's going to somebody else. Now we're doing shit on my terms. So he issued an open challenge to anybody on Monday Night Raw for the Intercontinental Championship. I've heard names like Rusev. I've heard names like Seth Rollins. I've heard names like the one I'm going to mention in this report. With the recent inclusion of the Spirit Squad into this angle between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, it seemed only natural that Ziggler's rivalry with The Miz would continue beyond No Mercy. After all, you could certainly make an argument that the two were delivering the most compelling segments on either Raw or SmackDown on a weekly basis, which they were doing. And when neither Dolph nor The Miz were named to SmackDown Survivor Series team, it made that much more sense that they do battle again for the Intercontinental Championship at the pay-per-view on the 20th. I figured that they would definitely do battle, being that segment with Daniel Bryan didn't mention The Miz being part of Team SmackDown. I thought that it was going to be The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler again in a steel cage or a ladder match of some sort, but that was not the case. It doesn't appear that WWE is going in that direction. As seen this past Tuesday, Ziggler answered an open challenge by making quick work of Kurt Hawkins to retain his championship. But the bigger news came right after when he declared that since The Miz wouldn't sign off on a rematch clause, Dolph would issue an open challenge at the Survivor Series. The twist, however, came when he challenged anyone from the Raw roster. And according to Cage Side Seats, that challenge may be answered by Sami Zayn. Since the brand extension, Sami Zayn has yet to be featured in a program of any real significance. The only one that we can think of is Kevin Owens, but that was not for a championship. So, Sami Zayn has yet to be featured in a program of any real significance. He found his way on the SummerSlam card at the last minute by teaming with Neville to take on the Dudley Boys in an absolute throwaway match on the pre-show. He did wrestle Chris Jericho at Clash of Champions, but the build was rushed and nothing to write home about. Merely, that feud was built, or that match was built, because Sami Zayn came out, he was on Talk is Jericho, or the fucking highlight reel, whatever the fuck he calls it, and he got hit over the head with a cell phone. That's it. That's pretty much what made that match. Like the report says, Sami Zayn is yet to be featured in a program of any real significance. More recently, Sami Zayn emerged as the first legitimate Raw star to step up and challenge Braun Strowman's Path of Destruction. Strowman actually eliminated Sami last week, or this current week I should say, to win the Battle Royal to qualify for Team Raw's Survivor Series team. Now, there was a leaked image on WWE.com that I posted on my Twitter page where WWE accidentally leaked the fifth and final member of Team Raw. Zayn would fill that final spot on the same team in 2 weeks. Now, Sami Zayn was featured there, and I don't know if it was by accident. I don't know if this is the legit plans WWE is going with right now. You know, it wouldn't make much sense if it's not Seth Rollins. You know, I understand that having Seth Rollins not be on the team plays into the entire thing with Jericho and Owens kind of conspiring with Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon doesn't want to give Seth Rollins the opportunity to be on Team Raw because she doesn't approve of what he's done, and she's not a big fan of Seth Rollins and all these threats that he's been making to her and Foley and Raw and Triple H, her husband. It would make sense if he's not on the team. I understand that, but you gotta think. You gotta think to what I told you about Braun Strowman on my Monday Night Raw review. Now, if you want to go against SmackDown and this is going to be like gang warfare or brand warfare, you obviously want to put your best foot forward. You want your best five. If Seth Rollins is not on that team, Monday Night Raw does not have your best five. I love Sami Zayn. I really do. I think Sami Zayn is Universal Championship material down to the fucking very last checker on his fucking tights. I really do. He's amazing. Everything he does is great. He's fluid. He's smooth in the ring. He's got that underdog mentality that's easy to cheer for. But Sami Zayn being in the Universal Championship picture right now obviously is not the right place or time. So Sami Zayn, I do think is one of the best that Monday Night Raw has to offer. He's highly underutilized, but in the eyes of WWE and probably the fans as well, the way he's been booked, the way he's been handled, he doesn't seem like one of the guys that should be on that team. It should definitely go to Seth Rollins. I would much rather Sami Zayn, and I mentioned this on my Hell in a Cell review. I mentioned that, you know, or on my SmackDown review, I should say. I mentioned this on my SmackDown review, word for word, that Sami Zayn should be the one to challenge Dolph Ziggler. And now Cage Side Seats is reporting that it may be answered by Sami Zayn. They don't have any sources or anything, but according to them, that Sami Zayn is going to be the one to challenge Dolph Ziggler. Now, as far as anything else goes with this leak on WWE.com, it could be a genuine error. It might not be. The last time WWE made something like this happen, or something like this happened on their website, you gotta date back to when the draft was about to happen. They named GMs. You know, Daniel Bryan was leaked in an article that was posted on WWE.com. Later that evening, they took it down immediately. And Daniel Bryan ended up being the general manager of SmackDown. So, I don't know. This very well could be Sami Zayn on Team Raw. And they're going to leave Rollins off. Maybe Rollins challenges Dolph Ziggler. I don't know. But I would like it to be the other way around. I think if you're going to put your best foot forward and challenge SmackDown, you need to have your best 5. Without Seth Rollins there, you do not have your best 5. And it wouldn't really make much sense. He is their number 1 draft pick. He is their number 1 draft. If you're not going to have your number 1 draft pick on your team, it's kind of silly. That's just me. So, that's pretty much that. The more likely scenario is that Seth Rollins fills that 5th spot, leaving Sami Zayn on the outside looking in. Which, in this case, he could certainly make sense as a challenger to Dolph Ziggler's Intercontinental Championship. The only other worthwhile candidate from Raw might be Rusev, but that rivalry is drawn out enough, and it's boring, and it's fucking, it's just completely dated. Nobody wants to see that shit. I know Rusev is different now than he was then, but I don't care for it. I'm not going to be invested in something like Rusev and Dolph Ziggler. We've seen it already. If you give Sammy and Ziggler 20 minutes at the Survivor Series, which is going to be a 4-hour pay-per-view, they could potentially tear the house down. And it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, and it's something that we all think Sami Zayn deserves. I think that is the absolute best way to go about it. No Rusev. There had been some speculation that an NXT star could answer the call, seeing how they'll be in town that weekend, but the specific challenge was made to any Raw superstar. If it is ultimately Zayn, what would become of him and the IC title if he were to beat Dolph Ziggler? Would he move to SmackDown, or would he actually have the belt on Monday Night Raw? Will the Intercontinental Championship go to Monday Night Raw? Which I don't think is the case. Knowing WWE and Vince McMahon, that might very well be the case, which is completely fucking stupid. Then the United States Championship would have to come over to SmackDown in some way. And if that's the case, Roman loses it, he's going to have his eyes direct on that Universal Championship, and I don't trust WWE 1 fucking second to not give that fucking clown the Universal Championship. So what's going to happen with the IC title if Sami Zayn does win? The latter would be less likely, considering the US title is already exclusive to Monday night. If you recall, Sami was one of the 3 Raw superstars considered to be traded, or at least trade bait, in the immediate aftermath of the brand split. Zayn, Owens, Cesaro were all rumored at one point to be dealt to SmackDown, but obviously none have. So Owens figures to be a key on Raw for the foreseeable future, and Cesaro may have found a successful union with Sheamus, but a win over Dolph Ziggler at Survivor Series would certainly pave the way for Sami to make a move. I like it. I like it, man. You don't even need to do anything out there, outlandish. It's not confusing whatsoever, man. It's a swift, easy move. It's painless. It's honestly painless. Sami Ziggler, if Sami Zayn wins it, which I would not mind it at all, I would actually love it, to be honest with you. If Sami wins at Survivor Series and becomes the Intercontinental Champion, by default, Monday Night Raw has to figure out some way to get his contract over to Shane and Daniel Bryan on SmackDown. Maybe they do a trade. And Sami goes to SmackDown. Sami Zayn, no matter if he's challenging for the title, whether he's going to be at Survivor Series challenging Ziggler, all we know is that Sami Zayn needs to be on SmackDown. Sami Zayn belongs on SmackDown. They are misusing him fucking unbelievably on Monday Night Raw. He needs to be on SmackDown. SmackDown would treat him right. Sami Zayn would easily become a WWE Championship contender on SmackDown. And to see AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn in a future program, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Zayn versus Cena, Zayn versus Wyatt, Zayn versus Orton. There's a lot of Zayn versus Ambrose. There's a lot of potential for Sami Zayn, man. I really like it, and I think Sami Zayn is going to be the one to challenge Dolph Ziggler. At least in my eyes, it makes the most sense at Survivor Series for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, let me go over this quickly. There was the report that WWE leaked the unveiling of the final member for Team Raw. Daniel Bryan did it, obviously, with the GM announcement. WWE leaked that. But the moment that Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon laid down a challenge that would pit 3 teams of SmackDown stars against 3 teams from Raw, fans immediately began fantasy booking the final lineup for Survivor Series and how those traditional elimination matches would be set up. The tag teams and the women were a little easier considering the lack of depth in both of those divisions on both shows. So the men's 5-on-5 match provided the most intrigue. Because Raw held its brand-exclusive pay-per-view Hell in a Cell this past Sunday, the teams for Survivor Series only began forming Monday and Tuesday so that those storylines could be wrapped up or put on hold. SmackDown, on the other hand, could afford looking ahead to Survivor Series since their last pay-per-view ended on October 9th and they really had nothing else to build towards but the Survivor Series. Meanwhile, Monday Night Raw had Hell in a Cell. In one fell swoop, Daniel Bryan announced his entire team for the men's 5-on-5 match during the segment with The Miz on Miz TV. He named Baron Corbin, which I like, and I got news on Baron Corbin as well this weekend. Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, whom I didn't think was going to be announced, as his wife is ready to give birth that weekend. So it's surprising that Randy Orton's going to be there. I figured John Cena would be more likely, but Randy Orton is going to be there with his newfound partnership in Bray Wyatt. And Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles round out the team. On Monday night, Braun Strowman earned his way onto Team Raw by winning a Battle Royal and joining Owens, Jericho, Roman Reigns, and that was appointed by Mick Foley, apparently on merit alone. According to Daily Wrestling News, there has been an image floating around social media that would indicate that Sami Zayn will be the 5th and final member of Team Raw at Survivor Series, and that was reportedly released and leaked by the WWE website. So either Sami Zayn is going to be the 5th member, or it was a complete Photoshop on someone's end, or someone at WWE completely fucked up. It could be any one of those three. It's the exact same thing that happened with Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan was rumored to be the GM of Raw, they leaked it, and that eventually came out to be true. Obviously, nothing has been confirmed as of yet, and the plan was for the final participant to be revealed this week on Raw, this coming week. It's unclear whether this was done intentionally, and it should be noted that it has since been removed. If it was ever there to begin with, the WWE has a habit of leaking their own surprises early, most recently when their app sent out an alert for Daniel Bryan, and he would become the new general manager of SmackDown Live before Shane actually revealed him to be the man. The assumption all along has been that Seth Rollins will be the final member of Team Raw for Survivor Series in order to continue his current storyline with Owens, Jericho, and now Reigns, teasing some sort of Shield reunion. Roman and Seth had a moment to close out Monday that brought back memories of the Shield. Speaking of the Shield, I have been reporting all year that there were backstage discussions centered around the idea of reuniting the group at an upcoming pay-per-view, more notably Survivor Series. First and foremost, Reigns and Rollins and Ambrose all had to be heels or baby faces, and that has since been accomplished. They are all baby faces. Reigns is a quote-unquote baby face, not really, according to the fans, but in the eyes of WWE brass, he is a baby face. Rollins has made the transformation, and Ambrose is a baby face on SmackDown. The show had to be dual-branded, which Survivor Series certainly is. Having all three in the same match would definitely add an extra level of drama depending on how it played out, especially with some iteration of the Wyatt family looming. In fact, Zayn, if he's named to the Survivor Series team, it would raise a lot of questions as to what role Rollins might play at the Survivor Series if he's not going to be on Team Raw. He has had an impending feud with Triple H, but that's not scheduled until the Royal Rumble at the earliest, is what the rumor is. The fact that he just saved Reigns from a 2-on-1 attack with Jericho, KO, and that should be the only thing we see on Monday Night Raw that's going to further lead to indications that their angle will spill over into Survivor Series. The only reason it makes sense for Sami Zayn to be named to the team is that he was the first legitimate superstar to step up and challenge Braun Strowman on his recent run. Zayn was also the final competitor eliminated from the Battle Royal with Strowman, who won to qualify for the team. There will only be 2 belts defended at Survivor Series, and unless Rollins unexpectedly accepts Dolph Ziggler's open challenge, it wouldn't make much sense for him to be placed anywhere else on the card except in an elimination match. Rollins will be the 5th man. By some way, whether Stephanie wants it or not, Mick Foley is going to convince her that Rollins belongs there. He is the number 1 draft pick. Sami Zayn belongs in that IC title match. That is it. So they did leak an image, but obviously in WWE, plans change, revolving around the fucking hour, so you never know what's going on. I understand they leaked Daniel Bryan being the GM early, but this could be a Photoshop. this could be what WWE did have in mind, and then they're going to change their ideas and their plans for Monday Night Raw. Rollins is going to be added, and Sami Zayn's going to challenge Dolph Ziggler. So we won't know until Monday, but it's definitely fun to speculate. But I'm sure you guys agree with me. Rollins deserves to be on Team Raw, being that he's the number one draft pick for that brand. Sami Zayn, he is Universal Championship material, no question. But I think he is better fit for the Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge for Dolph Ziggler. And having him win that and having him go to SmackDown, I think that is the best move possible for WWE. News on Finn Balor. Now he is unlikely to return in time for the Royal Rumble. I'm actually hearing rumors before I even read this report that Finn Balor is looking to make a comeback earlier than anybody expects. It could be between now and December. Between now and Roadblock, actually. And I'm hearing that there are rumors going around that the event Roadblock and the arena that's actually holding Roadblock is advertising Finn Balor to be there. And people are going crazy. Save him for the Rumble. Save him for the Rumble. This is a waste of fucking Finn Balor's return. I agree with that. Now, you got to understand, these advertisements that go out to the arena, they go out months in advance. They need the advertisements to sell tickets for the event, for the arena. And they need names, and they need matches, and they need highlights and spotlights to entice people to buy tickets for the event. To come to the arena and buy tickets for the event. So obviously they're using the names of Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. They actually leaked Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship as well, which we will discuss in a little bit. But Finn Balor, unlikely, according to this report, unlikely to return in time for the Royal Rumble. Unlike many of his peers, such as Tyler Breeze, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, and Sami Zayn, Finn Balor served as an immediate purpose upon his promotion to WWE's main roster. You could argue that he was most deserving because, after all, his call-up was long overdue and it finally came this past July. Balor's debut may be one of the most memorable of all time. Just 6 days after the brand extension draft and his first night on Raw, Finn Balor won a Fatal 4-Way qualifying match and then followed up by defeating Roman Reigns clean on Monday Night Raw in the main event to advance to SummerSlam to face Seth Rollins for the newly created Universal Championship. There aren't many other superstars who can claim such accomplishments for their first night on the job. Balor, of course, would go on to win the match against Rollins and become the first ever Universal Champion, but that honor came with a huge price. Finn suffered a devastating shoulder injury earlier on in that match and was forced to relinquish the title less than 24 hours later on the next night on Raw. The WWE creative staff had already mapped out Balor's next 2 months on top. He was slated to defend his title against Kevin Owens on Raw, or on Raw's first brand exclusive pay-per-view, which would have been Clash of Champions, and follow it up with a triple threat encounter at Hell in a Cell along with Owens and Jericho. In fact, the plan was to keep the belt around Balor's waist for an extended period of time, likely through the end of 2016 and perhaps as far as the Royal Rumble, but that is all null and void as of right now. Roughly a week after he suffered the injury, Balor appeared on the Ross Report with Jim Ross, one of my favorite podcasts, and he was there to update everyone on the extent of his injury, the diagnosis, and when he's expected to be back in the ring. Now, before I read what Balor said, you know, these guys, they're not going to outwardly tell you I'm coming back sooner than ever. I'm coming back early. I want my belt back. He's going to play it up. He's not going to let you know when he's coming back because it would ruin the surprise or the plans that WWE has, and he's not going to reveal anything. So he's going to give you the politically correct answer when he's on the Ross Report with Jim Ross, and that's just the way it's going to be. That's the way it is with everybody. They're not going to leak anything, and they're not going to let you fully know what is going on. They're always going to fucking beat around the bush with these types of things. So Finn Balor says, and I quote, "The original diagnosis was 4 to 6 months, but when they found the extra problems in there, they said it was going to be a hard fix for now. You know, I can try and shave off some extra time, but I'm not going to. If I'm ready before 6 months, I'm going to make sure that when the time comes, I'm going to be better than ever." So that's what he said, end quote. 2 weeks after that, Finn granted WWE.com an exclusive update to which he reiterated the timetable and stressed that he hoped to be back in time for WrestleMania. Obviously. Secretly, WWE officials were hoping that he'd be back sooner, but management was holding out hope that Balor would return as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble and had been saving a spot just for him. Now, however, that doesn't appear likely as reported by Sportskeeda.com. Initially, the short end of the diagnosis could have Finn back in a WWE ring by the end of December, but if he were out the full 6 months, that meant sometime in February. Now, obviously, if Finn Balor is going to be back in February and they want to get him into the championship picture, WWE is holding Elimination Chamber in February, so he might play a factor into the returning Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Not only was a spot being reserved in the Rumble for Balor, but he was considered on the short list of potential winners as well. It's been noted that WWE officials are doing everything that they can to stack the event due to the size of the venue and the anniversary of the Royal Rumble. They have been courting legends and fellow Texans, Austin, Michaels, and even The Undertaker, and Balor's presence would only add even more star power to the Royal Rumble. Because Finn was likely slotted to enter the Royal Rumble pay-per-view as the Universal Champion, initial plans wouldn't have seen him win it. His injury certainly shuffled the deck quite a bit, but the winner of the Royal Rumble shouldn't have been affected. It will be interesting to see where he's placed when he does come back, but unless a miracle occurs in his recovery, don't expect the Demon King back before the Elimination Chamber. I think Balor will be back at the Royal Rumble. That's just my honest opinion. You know, it always serves as a great comeback. Now, the only reason why I wouldn't want Balor to come back in the Rumble is because I would say it's too predictable. If Balor is in it, are you really going to have him lose? You know, and I really don't want Finn Balor to win the Royal Rumble. I really don't. I would like him to gain entry into a championship opportunity by some other means. You know, I want a Royal Rumble for the first time in a very, very long time to happen. And I don't want to know a potential winner, man. I don't want to know any winner. And hopefully that this year, you know, the brand split is in effect. We're not going to have that predictable outcome that there'll be, you know, 5 to 10 guys who could win it. And it boils down to those 10. Instead of going into the Rumble where it's all fucking jobbers, 28 or 27 guys, and you only got to select 3 that you know who could definitely win it. And then when it comes down to those 3, it's like, come on, dude. Really? 3 men out of 30, and this is all you got? Give me unpredictability. Give me shock value in the Royal Rumble instead of making it predictable. That's what I want. If Balor's in the Rumble, it's going to be too predictable because I don't see him losing. I do not see him losing whatsoever. Austin Aries, out with injury for several months. His latest program pitted him in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic as a way to reintroduce himself and to get over Roderick Strong to NXT. The two had partnered together in tag teams and stables in Ring of Honor and in TNA, and it only made sense to continue that lineage under the WWE umbrella. Unfortunately, the initial pairing will have to be dissolved for the time being. As noted, Aries suffered an injury last week and was forced to miss the rest of the tournament. Now, as you guys know, you had the TM61 go against Roderick Strong, and TM61 in a singles match beat Roderick Strong. So, that was that. Regal came out and stated, you know what, instead of giving TM61 the win and having them advance, you know, we're going to do this right. We're going to have Roderick Strong, who's healthy, go against whoever TM61 wants to decide. And that's exactly what they did. So one member of TM61 went against Roderick Strong, and they had a great fucking match, man. 11, 12-minute match. It was competitive. It was close. And TM61 actually won a berth into the next round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I didn't like that Roderick Strong took a loss. And if Aries was healthy and ready to go, this team could have honestly won the whole thing. They were definitely one of the odds-on favorites to win it. But being that Austin Aries got hurt, the entire complexion, and I mentioned this on my NXT review, the entire complexion of this tournament changed completely. And they even did an injury angle with the Revival. Now, the Revival's not hurt at all. You had fucking Scott Dawson come out and limp out there on crutches and say, the doctors aren't letting me go. He's perfectly healthy. They're just playing up the heel angle where they don't want to challenge Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. That's it. But they're good to go. There's nothing wrong with them. Austin Aries was legit hurt. So, unfortunately, these two guys, Strong and Aries, they had to be separated for now. So, according to Sportskeeda, the injury is far worse than originally expected. Aries suffered an orbital fracture as a result of a stiff kick to the face from Shinsuke Nakamura at an NXT live event. When you guys seen this picture, and I'm sure you did because it was posted all over social media, I thought this was like a Halloween fucking costume. I thought this was a troll. I thought this was a great makeup job. In fact, Austin Aries was completely fucked up. And no, I do not think Shinsuke Nakamura is dangerous in the ring. Accidents fucking happen. You know, he went to kick just like he would kick anybody else. The kick probably landed wrong, or the kick, hit his face the way it was not intended to hit his face. Shit happens. Shit happen. Do you know everything that these guys do is choreographed in the ring? They plan out in advance how they want the match to go. The big spots happen. They communicate inside the ring about what they want to do. It's a competitive atmosphere. It's truly a work of art. And you don't go into this match, you don't go into a work of art unprepared. Whatever they had planned did not go according to plan. There was a slight mix-up. It's like you taking a piece to the puzzle and you're trying to fit something in that doesn't fit. You think it's the right piece. You think it's right, but it's not. That's what happened. And it's not Austin Aries' fault. It's not Nakamura's fault. This is the happenings of a wrestling match, man. This is what happens. This is the result of getting in the ring. Nakamura is not dangerous. You expecting Bret Hart to come out and fucking curse out Nakamura now? That he's an unsafe worker? Give me a break. Nakamura is not an unsafe worker, man. It was an accident. The kick wasn't placed properly. They were just off slightly. Shit happens. So, put that to rest. As noted, the injury occurred at an NXT live event in California, and the surgery is set to take place, which already took place. It took place in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, so he's good to go. He actually tweeted pictures of before and after the event happened. Okay, so the referee threw up the X sign, and they signaled out officials and referees. NXT continued the tapings for the Dusty Tag Team Classic last week. Aries did show up, but obviously he did not compete, which I just mentioned. William Regal booked Roderick Strong against Shane Thorne of TM61, where the winner advanced his team in the tournament. Obviously, Thorne won. TM61 advanced. And they now write off Aries and Strong. They are eliminated. So it's unknown where Strong goes from here with NXT TakeOver looming at the end of the month. Aries was brought to NXT to establish star power and get over young stars who can help sell tickets and continue to the transition when the brand's top stars were called up to the main roster. He was going to serve as a nice catalyst for NXT. WWE noted that Nakamura was pinpointed as the new flag bearer of NXT, replacing Finn Balor. Much to the chagrin of wrestling fans, that means Shinsuke Nakamura will not be demoted to Raw or SmackDown anytime soon. The expectation has been that, much like Balor replaced Owens and Nakamura and Joe stepped in for Finn, Austin Aries would be among those considered next in line to headline NXT cards when Nakamura and Joe were finally promoted. Aries, Young, Bobby Roode, Hideo Itami, Ty Dillinger. So there are going to be guys that just got to step their game up. And they got to prove to NXT officials and WWE that, NXT is going to be perfectly fine when Nakamura gets demoted to Monday Night Raw. That group would also include, like I mentioned, Rude, Hideo Itami, if the latter is to remain healthy himself. Itami is in the midst of his second stint on the DL since joining NXT. There have been some speculation that Eric Young, recently introduced to the NXT universe as the leader of Sanity and former TNA star himself, may fill the void left by Aries' injury. As of now, there are 4 matches confirmed for the Big Takeover special the night before Survivor Series. It will be interesting to see and how they fill out the rest of the card with Young and Strong available amongst others. It sucks, man. Shit happens. But it did look nasty, and hopefully Austin Aries comes back stronger than ever, and he comes back quick because NXT can certainly use him. WWE superstars Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho splitting heading into December. It's been rumored for some time already that WWE planned to split both Owens and Jericho sometime in the winter, but it was unknown at what time it would take place. In fact, there was a rumored triple threat in the works for WWE Survivor Series dating back a number of weeks ago, which would have involved Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. Of course, that was before the major traditional Survivor Series matches were planned out. That said, a triple threat match with 3 top WWE stars is still in the works, but that may be held off until December or January instead. The turn for Jericho does seem to be happening sooner rather than later, and according to Cage Side Seats, it could be seen as soon as WWE Survivor Series during the men's traditional Survivor Series match, Raw against SmackDown. Either that or seeds could be planted from this match, resulting in a full turn later on. The breakup angle could lead to some sort of match at WWE Roadblock in December between them, which may bring about the triple threat. Of course, they could always do Jericho Owens first, get to Rollins, Jericho, and Owens at the Royal Rumble. This might work out best, as it would allow WWE to have Jericho take the fall, and for Seth Rollins to get into a match with Owens at WWE Fastlane or Elimination Chamber in February, where Triple H could get involved setting up a match between the two of them at WrestleMania 33. As of now, nothing has been spoken about for Chris Jericho when it comes to WrestleMania 33. However, he is more over now than he's ever been, and especially in quite some time. His last few comebacks have been fun, but they have not been spectacular, to say the least. In fact, he was pulling out old catchphrases just a little while back because he didn't have anything to use. Then the list of Jericho was born along with it. You know? We still don't know what it is, but whatever it is, he knows all about it. Meanwhile, Kevin Owens is an amazing promo artist, similar to Jericho. Their friendship has worked out well for television and definitely is the most entertaining aspect of Monday Night Raw, and that's pretty much all Monday Night Raw has going for them. They are absolute gold together. Jericho is fucking pure, solid gold on Monday nights. This may be why WWE is yet to split them and may be waiting until the last possible moment to do so. Chris Jericho is the obvious babyface in the group, but KO does need someone to watch his back. Jericho has taken a good chunk of pedigrees that Seth Rollins has been dishing out. Owens did help Jericho avoid one this past week on Raw, but Jericho did help Owens win his Hell in a Cell match on Sunday, where he took a lot of punishment to help Owens retain his Universal Championship. All of this being said, the friendship with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens is fun. It's very fun for television, very fun for Monday Night Raw, and it may end up ending for some reason before the end of the year is up. It may work out for the best considering how both good men are, or how good both men are, I should say. Of course, this may only add to their promo quality with each other and possibly even their obvious match, so it isn't all that bad. Listen, you know, it's coming. It's not going to last forever. All good things must come to an end, and it's coming. I don't know how Seth Rollins plays into all this, but the main thing that I mentioned at the top, and the main thing that I mentioned here, is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns may play a factor into the Universal Championship by the end of the year. And I know nobody wants it. I don't want it. You don't want it. I don't think the fucking fans want it, period. I don't want WWE. I mean, WWE Raw is fucking at its lowest level right now. If you start putting Roman Reigns in the Universal Championship picture, it's not going to get better. It's going to make things worse. And how can they become worse than what they are now? That's how you do it. You don't want it. You don't want this to happen. You don't need this to happen. Owens and Rollins and Jericho, it's not setting the fucking world ablaze. It's not fucking selling out seats and arenas. In fact, most of it has been quite boring, to be honest with you. Jericho is the only entertaining aspect of this because he's Jericho. Owens is a great fucking promo, but he's been given the shaft as a champion. He has been given the short end of the stick as a champion on Raw. Because Monday Night Raw, they need a champion that's going to be the definition of a champion. I can't take it. I can't stand it. Every champion on Raw, every heel champion on Raw is always a coward. I mean, seriously. Kevin Owens is supposed to be a prized fighter. That's his gimmick. Why does he need to win a match every single time by outside interference? What's going to happen when he stares down Roman Reigns? Is he going to have Jericho by his side? I don't know. This might be over by then. Or is WWE going to give the Universal Championship to Roman Reigns? Is he going to be a dual champion for Monday Night Raw? I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. But according to reports, after the Survivor Series, WWE has plans to do title versus title between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, with the Universal Championship and the U.S. Championship belts on the line between the two men. This feud would stretch out through the end of 2016. This is barring anything that I just mentioned with Jericho, Owens, and Rollins. Because if this happens, then you know they're going to be setting up Rollins for Triple H. And Jericho, I figured Jericho would have been gone by now. So they must be pushing back that Fozzy album a couple of months. I don't know what's going on with that, but Survivor Series could be the very last pay-per-view for Chris Jericho because you know he has his music obligations. The idea was planted for Roman Reigns on Raw Talk, where Roman Reigns said that he would be better suited to fight Kevin Owens than Seth Rollins was. For those that didn't see it, Raw Talk is a copy of the popular Talking Smack, and it aired following the Hell in a Cell event on Sunday night. Interestingly, after making those comments, Roman Reigns got in the face of Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho the next night on Monday Night Raw. That led to Jericho getting a U.S. title shot against Roman Reigns, which he lost by DQ when Owens attacked Roman. The two beat down Reigns until Rollins made the save. Now, several sources reported that Seth Rollins' save and stare down between Rollins and Reigns as the fans chanted yes made a possible Shield reunion look possible. However, with the comments by Roman Reigns the night before on Raw Talk, it sounds like more that he wants to prove that he is better than his former Shield partner. That is the one problem with Roman Reigns and his fan reaction. While the WWE fans want him to be one of their biggest faces in the company, he often acts like a heel more than he does a babyface. Even against the villain Rusev, it was Roman Reigns who pulled off heel moves through their feud. Part of the problem might be Roman Reigns' relationship with his cousin The Rock. While The Rock was able to be an arrogant prick, pretty much, and keep fans cheering for him, The Rock has charisma to pull that off. Reigns puts you to sleep. He has absolutely no charisma whatsoever. When Reigns tries to do it, he looks like a bully. Fans don't want to see that side of him, and they want to see the Shield or some reiteration of it. Even when Roman Reigns was introduced as being part of Monday Night Raw and the team for Survivor Series, a lot of boos came in his direction. It wasn't until Seth Rollins made the save and the two men shared the ring together that the fans started to get excited about Reigns again, which I stated months ago. The Shield reunion would be the best for Reigns because he would be over by association. Fans respect and like Rollins. Fans respect and like Ambrose. And by association, I think Roman Reigns would feed off that and he would get over with the fans. So based on that alone, I think this is a good idea. So if the rumors are true and WWE is already planning to move Roman Reigns back into the Universal Championship title picture, fans might completely reject this idea and reject Reigns again. The WWE made the right move to push Roman down and tried to rebuild him, but Reigns has not had enough time to win over enough of the fans, being the United States champion. The next night on Raw, the next Monday Night Raw, I should say, and the next special event for Raw, exclusively on the WWE Network, is Roadblock on December 18th. If the WWE plans to have Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens battle in a title versus title match, it will likely take place there. With the Royal Rumble coming up after that, the road to WrestleMania will be underway, and the WWE wants Roman Reigns in the driver's seat heading into the big event. They will have to carefully plan out the road now to prevent the fans from completely tuning out. It's inevitable. The fans are going to tune out inevitably. There's no way around it at all. You put Reigns in the Universal Championship picture, it is over. Monday Night Raw will go back to the Raws that we were given. Do you remember the Raws towards the end of 2015 at Survivor Series this time last year? They were awful. People were rejecting everything about Roman Reigns. Everything. WWE got him over. Just a smidgen in Philadelphia when he won the WWE Championship. And like I said, nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. I'm like, everybody cheering, oh, this is a turn in the right direction for Monday Night Raw. I'm like, what are you fucking people watching? I don't know what you watch, but this is going to go downhill within 2 weeks. And what happened? By the time we got to WrestleMania, people were cheering Triple H and not Roman Reigns. Meanwhile, Triple H is the fucking evil COO, the authority. They were cheering the authority figure. Come on, man. Roman Reigns in the Universal Championship picture, I understand it's coming. I understand he's not going to be in the mid-card forever. But something needs to be done. And WWE, if they want to make that jump again, they have to prevent the fans for getting on this guy and getting on his case. Because it's not going to work. The way Roman Reigns is now, never going to work. So Roman Reigns, WWE has plans to move him into a feud with Kevin Owens at Roadblock. Champion versus champion. U.S. Championship versus Universal Champion. Let me know what you guys are thinking about that. And that is everything, guys. That is Off the Script. Episode 142, part number 2. If you guys want to check the description for everything, man, I live streamed the last couple of days for Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered. Very, very difficult time. I do not like either game at all. So if you missed those live streams, please go and check it out. I live streamed WWE 2K17 episode number 4 Universe Mode last night. If you guys missed that, it's live on the channel right now. So if you need something to do on Saturday afternoon, if you want some entertainment, it is there for you. Make sure you guys check that out as well. If you guys want to buy my brother's t-shirts, man, Legionary, they are beautiful. They feel fucking great. They look even better. You can visit his Bandcamp page down below. The link to his Bandcamp and his music. If you guys want to listen to his music, and if you enjoy it, buy a t-shirt, man. They're great fucking quality. $25. They are unbelievable, man. Not only you support him, but you support and show support to me and my podcast and the channel. So make sure you guys go check that out. If you guys want to pledge to the Patreon here for my channel and my podcast, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Make sure you guys read the mission statement on there. Thank you to everybody that's pledged. Thank you to everybody that continues to donate when I live stream. You guys are fucking unbelievable. I love each and every one of you. So check that out, man. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys do not want to do that and you want to just buy a t-shirt, man, the t-shirt sales directly affect the podcast and the growth of this podcast as well, man. That's a great way to support the show as well. Barbershopwindow.com. Make sure you guys get your official JD and Off the Script merchandise. Barbershopwindow.com. Go to the main page. Type in Off the Script. You'll be taken right to my online shop. You got a variety of different t-shirts there, man. 4 versions of Get Off My TV, Goon City, and the great Off the Script logo, $19.99. Great fucking quality from Pro Wrestling Tees. And they are worldwide, man. They ship all over the place. Make sure you guys go and do that. Check them out and support the show if you guys don't want to do the Patreon. Barbershopwindow.com. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Tomorrow, I was lazy today, actually. I got to go pick up the Loot Crate and go get it later today. I'm going to do an unboxing with the Loot Crate, Slam Crate, and Wrestle Crate on Sunday show, so make sure you guys check that out as well. So if you guys want coupon codes, man, for Loot Crate, WWE Slam Crate, use the coupon code JD from NY for 10% off, and Wrestle Crate, use the code JD sent me, which is now active again, by the way. Some of you have told me, JD, it's not active. I spoke to Wrestle Crate. It is active, man. JD sent me for an instant 10% off, and visit WrestleRumble.com. Wrestle Rumble is going to be giving away 2 luxury box tickets to the Royal Rumble again, so that'll be a total of 4 they gave out. They gave out 2 for Hell in a Cell, and they're giving out another 2 for Survivor Series. WrestleRumble.com. Keep an eye on when the entry forms go live. You could win $500 cash and a trip to the Royal Rumble at the Alamo Dome in January of 2017, guys. Thank you so much for everything. I'm JD. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you're thinking about all the top stories on Off the Script, and I'll be back tomorrow with part 3 of the #1 fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is Off the Script. See you guys on Sunday.